Let the chaos reign. Chaos Reign presents The Sisterhood and Accountability with special guests Topaz. Broadcast January the 24th, 2021. This might be triggering, but nonetheless, enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and to take a more greater or more extreme chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, my people. This is Chaos Rain here. And tonight, it's going to be very much interesting and a much needed conversation on the stream tonight. But before we begin, let me pull up something. All right. I would like everybody to go to talkrealsolutions.com. On Talk Real Solutions, you find the 3-point plan for Black empowerment, Black achievement. Also on the website, there's a list of Black established banks. And on the website, you'll see latest articles of news and current events that goes around America, the West, we call it, and abroad. But all that information is located on talkrealsolutions.com. So if you're not familiar with the website, check it out for yourself. Oh, and there's also a donation on the website as well if you want to donate to this platform we call Talk Real Solutions. Also, you can find this show, Chaos Reign, on Facebook, on Talk Real Solutions, streaming live on Facebook as well. And let me check. Oh, and also we are simulcasting on YouTube as well. Ain't that something? So you could catch this stream on Facebook and YouTube, the Talk Real Solution edition of the show. Now, for my show, Chaos Reign, if you're not familiar with Chaos Reign, you can also subscribe to Chaos Reign on YouTube. And you can now follow me on Facebook, which is titled Eric Reign. As you know, I go by Chaos Reign, Eric Reign on Facebook. And let me pull up the Facebook for those familiar. Oh, let's see. And there we go. Restore the session. I'm on Facebook. Type in Talk Real Solutions. Oh no, I'm sorry, not Talk Real Solutions. I get mixed up. Eric Reign is where you can find me on Facebook. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. And there's so many ways to connect to me. You can connect me through the Facebook or Twitter. I will try to be more active with Twitter. I'm still trying to work things around. And to be fair and honest, I'm not really much using the social media to its full potential like I should have, where I normally used to. But I'm getting back to the feel of things to be more active. And if y'all guys got any unusual topics, and it could be any topics, rather from extraterrestrials to, I guess, issues with the community, issues with men and females, anything that sounds intriguing that makes my eyebrows raise, please leave a comment either on my Facebook page if it's available, Eric Reign, or you could try leave a comment on my channel on YouTube. And it could be anything on any of the videos. I will look at it, read it, and maybe respond back at a given notice. So these are all the links to find me. And also, we're streaming live on both ends on T.R.S. So I think that's all I'm going to give for now. Did I forgot anything? Let me think. No, I think that's it. Let me check if my guest is on the board. Oh, wait. Let me go back and check. Give me 1 second, people. Okay. I think I see her now. If you dare, press *6 1 so I can see on the board. And we can get this party started. Yeah. That's a joke, guys. Anyway. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents the Sisterhood and accountability. Oh, yes. We're going to talk about a taboo subject, something that's not really discussed within the black community. And that is accountability. Accountability is a sin, a taboo here in this community. We call it black community. We all know that black men always are hold accountable for every little thing, but do the sisters really hold accountable on their behavior and actions? We shall see tonight. Just want to whisper. But anyway, no further ado, I'd like to welcome back to T.R.S. Talk Solutions, the one and only Topaz. What's good, Topaz? Are you there?
Hey, how are you? I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm sorry about being a little late. I had some things that ran over.
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it. But you're here nonetheless. I sound good at your end? All right, good. Well, as you could tell from the title I lay out, and mind you, Topaz, this is something that I came to ideal from something that you mentioned, discussed last year, that you never came across and did a stream on it. I can't give the actual name you were trying to set forth because, talking about this, not the title, but something in depth that relates to this, it's going to be very much triggering to our community. It's going to be more triggering to a lot of sisters. And I'm not saying little, but a lot. Because from what you tell me, from your own experience, it's troublesome. And you are very much more or even greater pro-black than any woman that I've come across.
Well, I try. I care about the community. I try to make sure that what I'm saying and doing is helpful.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into the meat or the grunt of things. So, in regards to the question I laid out, and because you have a background in therapy, psychiatry, all the above, what in regards to accountability or the notion that why this is such, I guess, a problematic thing when the males of our group harp and emphasize and bring not only that but bring the data, which everybody likes to use data. Why is accountability such a triggering or a problematic notion amongst the everyday black woman today in the 21st century, from last century going on to this century?
Okay, so the reason why people have such a problem with accountability is because accountability, when it's positive, is called credit, and everybody wants to take credit. So therefore, the only time that we mention accountability or people having a problem taking accountability is when it's something negative. And so it makes you feel attacked. It means that there's something that you did that wasn't okay. And so for a lot of black people, we start out already in our lives with 2 strikes against us already. So then every time that you feel attacked, that feels like the 3rd strike. So therefore people try to dodge because they want to make sure that they are saying that they learned the lesson, they understand, they can play the game of life. And when you're taking accountability, since it's not the positive version, meaning credit, it means that you have done something wrong that you're accepting the consequences for.
Okay, excellent. So from your notion, and mind you, Thomas, I don't want you to hold back because it's me, chaos. You know how I deal with real chaos, and then there has to be the bring in at the end of the day. Hold back, sis. All right, just let you know ahead of time. No, I don't tell most of this, but this is a range where I said we don't give a fuck around here. We talk it as it is. Okay.
Okay.
So in regards to the accountability, let's go deeper. We all know here the notion that a lot of women, they pick certain mates and they conceive. And we all know it takes two, correct? All right.
Right.
So now, when the issue comes about when I'm hearing this notion that the man should always stay after, I guess she is knocked up, I'm thinking, and this is just me, from what I'm hearing from other dudes, that, there's notion that, you should, and we harp, that you should marry before you carry. And
Right.
me, when I always hear that, I always think, why is it so important that as men we keep harping that? Because we know said in this society that if there's nothing really in paper or contract, that really this man, depending on your choices, whether you think you stimulate, aroused, or attracted, that you him create this bond and kid comes out of this, that there's nothing really holding this dude to stay around, from what I'm hearing a lot of women. And someone said that these dudes, on the average, are walking out their families, etc. I've been hearing this, but I'm big saying, but hold on. How is a man just going up and get and walk out of any responsibility? And then when I think about it, that I always go back and say, is there anything in buying contract? Because no man just get up and walk. There's always got to be something. Has to be something that either do two things. This man decides he could walk out without no consequence, or you as woman, you just want enough to do it, or you left. It's one or the other. When I hear the scenario when they send a man just walk out, and him, her, and the children. And we know in the black community, rather who's knocking up the women on the average, because if they said more than half of us, particularly men over 50, don't have kids, and on the women's side now it's like roughly touching mid 40%. That there has to be some other pull that somebody's knocking up the so-called extraordinary 70-80% out of wedlock in the community. So when I look at the numbers, don't make sense. So I'm saying, what binding as a woman you have to really hold a man where there's nothing really that he solidified as he make you his wife, as says something that's short term, that he could just get up and walk. I don't know if you want to explain this. I don't know if the question was clear when I'm laying out.
Okay, so what I'm thinking that the question is like, so what do women, when we enter into a relationship, even if it's a sexual relationship, and there ends up being a child conceived, what is it that a woman, that would make a woman say, yes, it's okay to have a child with this person because they're going to stay? Like, what is it that we require? Is that the question?
Yeah, you could lay that out, yeah. However you want to answer. But yeah, we could look at that. Go ahead.
Okay, so the thing is, women, there's two types of women, right? There's the type that wait for marriage to have a kid, and there's the type that are okay with having the kid before marriage. When you are a woman that waited for marriage, what the belief is that vow of marriage means that this guy has chosen you and that he's going to be there for you, and that, you have to tell yourself that nothing on this planet is going to say that it's okay to break that marriage vow. Like that. Otherwise, if you didn't believe that on some level, you wouldn't walk down the aisle. So they're believing that covenant, that vow, the promise they made, and witnesses, people see this promise being made. So you now are not just, imagining this. You have people that are saying to you, yes, he did promise this. You are absolutely correct. So those women believe that marriage vow is what will mean that it's okay to have children with this guy. Now, this is the thing. That doesn't allow for people to grow into somebody different. If you marry somebody young, you may have experiences within the marriage that says that you now no longer believe the same things that you used to believe. So now you want out. So, the women that wait for marriage, that they believe that means that he's supposed to stay, but sometimes what happens is the man will leave because now he needs something different. Now, the other type of woman, the one that's okay with having the kid before the marriage, right? This is the woman that feels like the connection is more important. She believes that something that he did, however minuscule it is or either however great it is, something that he did says that, okay, we don't have to worry about the marriage. I believe this guy is committed to me, and even if we aren't together, he'll still be there for the child, so I'm going to go ahead and have the child even though we haven't been married. Now, what that does not allow is for the woman to realize that maybe the guy didn't want to be there in the first place. Maybe this was something that he had not planned on. He was not in the same thought process that you were in. Maybe you misread the situation. So now, the guy is leaving because not only does he not want to be there now, but he may or may not have ever wanted to be there. Some men would have wanted to be there at first, and now things changed, and some of them didn't want to be there in the first place, and this happened, and now they're dealing with it. So does that kind of answer the question that you were asking?
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that's how I laid it out to make it simple how you want to answer, but somewhat similar. My thing is this with the uncertainty from Exhibit 2 that you referenced, that she feels a long-term relationship and feels that this man will just stay around after, going that route without, an actual committed marriage. Like, you go to the courthouse, say I do and all that stuff. It's a little different that we don't need to go all through the white man system. We could just do this route and then we'll just wing it out, which is all right to a degree. But what I'm hearing now from the after effects and backlash from what the women have been complaining, that these dudes are walking out. And I'm looking at, say, it's hard for a man to really be buying from anything because there's nothing really guaranteed, because there's nothing he facilitate through the state. Now, I know most people don't want to talk about the state because you know how black people are, say, oh, the state, I don't want the state in our business. I said, well, you might want to do it, especially if you're trying to get something out of this. Because what I find out, the way how we are moving now, the ones that go the way to get married in the system we call the West, we call America, it can be tricky. Cause I heard some dudes, or men in general, say it's not a good deal from what they're saying because of the backlash that could come to this, because how the state is structured for more than women. But I look at it that, yeah, it's structured, but it goes back again that there has to be a thorough vetting process that, if you're going to choose this woman for a long-term relationship or marriage, you got to be certain that you see all the layout, the possibilities, and look at what are going to be the possible outcomes, which there is going to be possible outcomes because, like I said, there's incentive for a good portion of women to not stay around now. Oh, go. Are you here? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm here, but I did want to add on to something when you said the vetting process, right? So now this is the thing about the vetting process. The vetting process is you doing the best that you can do to make a decision that a reasonable person would make. It doesn't make you psychic, right? So no man can vet a woman to the point where he can ensure 100% that he's not going to be hurt or damaged in some way. Neither can any woman do the same for men. So the vetting process is just saying for us as the community, if this person falls on hard times, are we going to be willing to support them and understand how they got in that situation and say that, yes, it's worth it for us to help them. We care about this. We want that type of behavior to continue, right? So whenever people say you should have vetted better, that to me is a red flag because, there is a point where, like, some people make sure that they are capable of passing all of the tests for the vetting process and still being able to do what they want to do. The vetting process is for the person that used it as well as their support system. Now, I do think that that's one thing that we do as the black culture is that we need to basically we need to understand that everything has limits. The vetting process even has limits. Yes, you should use it. Yes, you should, be as, you should be as efficient as you can utilizing that. But recognize that there are going to be some people that fall through the cracks because nothing is 100%. So you can't vet your way out of an unpleasant situation. You could try, but at some point, like, there's going to be some people that fall through those cracks. And those are the people that we need to extend our kindness to. Those are the people we need to help. The people that didn't even bother to use the process, we don't have to help them. They're, they need to understand that you were supposed to do something and you didn't.
Okay. that's interesting that it's a red flag when vetting because, like everything, you always got test the waters to see where we at, where our mind's at. And what I mean by vetting, I'm not saying this, what just sit down like a courtship. It has to be just a real thorough courtship. And when I mean that, it's gonna come to the point, saying what I want out of this, what you want out of this, and we could come to make some form of deal down the line, because that's where it ends. Where when we talk about, let's say, the marriage part, and a lot of people don't understand marriage is a business, is a buying contract where you're looking at something that's going to be hopefully for the long haul, not permanent, for hopefully for the long haul, because we live in different times now. Topaz, it's not like our grandparents, our parents that had marriage that lasts like what 30 years. Almost. Mm-hmm. Some maybe longer.
Well, no, our grandparents had marriages that lasted 70 years, like as long as they were from 20 to 90.
Oh, well, that's different. I mean, I know my side of parents, they're pushing like almost 40 years. You get me? I'm not sure about your side, but and I think I know one of my aunties is pushing almost 60 now. But the point, they actually, with marriage decades ago, usually until one of them is in the dirt. You get me? To really death. It's not like that now because, like I said, most of the laws now since the 70s, like no-fault divorce, made it more. And I think, no-fault divorce, it was really designed intentionally to create more of an easier separation between man and woman, in my opinion, because when we look at how the society is structured and how they want to extract resource, they already conclude that, to be fair and honest, that it was more profitable to keep people apart because they know women spend money. Do you hear me, ladies? As long as you're single and with child, you're going to spend money. You're not getting around because you are a consuming creature. And this economy flourish when women are spending money. Hell, Topaz, you could probably give us some scenarios on your end how you or any other woman spends so much money with Amazon last year because of the lockdown. Yeah, right. We're spending like it's no tomorrow, like it's the candy machine. Just throwing the quarters and turn that machine, and you see the cash drop. That's how it is. The system smiles. Mr. T.R.S. smiles, say, "Oh yes. Jeff Bezos made a lot of money off the communities. I'm telling you right now. He made his billions instantly, overnight, last year. And mind you, that man was married to his wife for over 25 years. She got her little change, but he kept it rolling with the money. You feel me? But like I said, for the sake of women, that, long-term relationships with child, there's no guarantee with the mate because he could feel he could walk out and there's no responsibility. Now, mind you, there is responsibility on the male side for most ladies that are going to listen to this. The system always punishes men for derelict behavior. Do you hear me? There's no way where a man could escape any responsibility. So when I say that men and women are equal, no, we're not. For you to think that you are equal, that tells me you are on the pipe. It's like this, Topaz. If I gave you a couple 50-pound bags and tell you to carry it all the way up the steps, will you do it?
No.
2. Okay. But I am, as a man, is able to do that. So when they tell me I say equality, I say, oh, really? Okay. Carry that. They're going to look at you funny and say, but you say equal. But the point is this, to let people know that we are not equal. So in regards to equal punishment, is totally different between men and women. So we got to get that clear for those who want to criticize say that men and women.
So now, Chaos, this is the thing. So I feel like men and women are equal but different. We have different goals. And the reason I say equality is because both are needed. If one could function without the other, I would say then we're not equal. But the only reason why I use the word equal is because I want people to understand that both are needed. One could be more valuable depending on which viewpoint you look at it from. I get why men need to feel like, men are, like women are not equal to men. What they are is different. The thing is, if you as a man can't sustain humanity, then you're not better. What you are is better at certain things. And I don't go into that argument with people because then it's like, okay, well, what do we hold as a better value and all that? And in that argument, to me, I feel like it's moot. What's the point? What's the point of having that argument? So that's the only reason why I don't get into those arguments about whether we're equal or which side is better. Is because what difference does it make? Both sides are needed. We as a culture need to focus on the fact that both are needed. We need to have both because each side is still, from what I see, keep trying to have like where they are okay and they don't need the other one. Whenever I hear a woman say she don't need a man, or when I hear a man say he don't need a woman, I feel like, okay, so you are two people that are getting ready to die. You're going to die out because if you don't have the other half, then you're not going to be able to create a way to continue. So to me, that's what that means. So that's why I don't get into that argument, because what difference does it make? You can believe whatever it is you need to believe. Tell yourself whatever you need to sleep at night. But at the end of the day, both sides are still needed. Neither side can survive without the other. To me, that is the definition of equality.
Yes. I mean, two halves have to make a whole one way or the other.
Right.
And, I don't have too many circular arguments with this. Only time when women go around that crap is when they're around presence of men. You might see it firsthand, Topaz, me around a lot of these male streams. When men are talking about, man stuff about issues about relationship and women, especially black women, lo and behold, they pop out of nowhere. I said, damn, y'all guys popping like Jesus Christ. I mentioned about black women, and whoop, there you come. Hold on. The title didn't say that. Well, it did say it, but you just come out of nowhere, and then you see them comment. And, me and Mr. Faulkner, we go back and forth. Well, he goes back and forth. I just sit back and listen. I will say something when needed, but really, truly, I just don't entertain certain conversations after a while. All right, good. So, like I said, ladies, in regards to the mate selection, it is determined by you. I'm not going to hold it against you too much because at the end of the day, when you decide to conceive, you're going to have to think critically how you're going to maneuver in the rest of your life with you and child, and with the mate that you hope that you trust that is going to do his part. That's it. I think one thing with the accountability in America is that they do give women a way out. That, you can just put them on child support, then you go find another mate, and maybe you could get another second shot of life. And we already know, Topaz, with women and men in regards to, what men hold value with certain women, that they're not going to really entertain women with children. Even now, if you hear the conversation now, especially men that don't have kids, they're not really thrilled. Say, I'm just looking for a nice, fine chick with a child, a baby mama. You hear these conversations with a lot of men. They say we're just looking for a woman, hopefully that doesn't have like baggage, like a whole bunch of kids, or doesn't look too fat or overweight. That's what the average man is thinking. And a lot of women think, say, as black men, because our fault as black men that we accept everything big and everything with women. That's why we are actually the garbage pool of dating pool. Because you see, Topaz, where you at, if you notice, a lot of black men that are carrying around and messing around with women that are bigger. Not only black women, but also women of other race.
Yeah, but I don't want to, I wouldn't say that means black men are the garbage of the dating pool.
I mean, no. I am saying it.
Oh, okay.
And not me saying it. This is not me saying it and Mr. Charles Faulkner. Me and him had this conversation, and I had to agree with him because. Don't worry. No, then I can attack you. Don't worry about it.
No, it's not even about being attacked. My thing is okay, so as long as I don't think it makes men garbage if they like women that are on the heavier side, or they like women that have certain characteristics or life experiences or whatever. Because I've talked to certain men that say that they do want to date a woman with kids because then that means that she's at the house, right? She's cooking. She has responsibilities. She can't be out here doing what the single women do. There are some men that truly believe that. Now, do I feel like that is the best option? No, because I feel like there should be some women that are at home that are doing what they're supposed to do, whether they have kids or not. But unfortunately, this is where we are as a society. The only way you can assume that a woman's going to be at the house is she have kids, right? I guess. I don't know. I'm not a guy. I don't date women.
Interesting.
So this is just what they say, right? So this is the thing is I don't think that makes men garbage if that's what they want and that's the only place that they've been able to find it. So I wouldn't say it. It's not about getting attacked. It's just that I've had men to tell me certain things, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. You know, so it's my way of empathizing with men who have been in that predicament.
Well, I have somewhat not much empathy when it comes to the male population in general. Because as black men, can't speak for as black men, period, we as black men, we could do much better. You get me? Not only if we get our finance up, but in regards to proper mate selection. And I think we give incentivized for certain behavior amongst our community with the women. Because you hear all the time, they said, well,
and I get why y'all say that. I get why you and Charles say that because what y'all are trying to get men to do is not, you know, not pick a woman who has had a chance at a relationship and then threw it away for nothing. Y'all are trying to prevent men from getting with women who just, you know, viewed it as a come up and then it didn't work out and now she's back in the day. Like, I get that. I completely understand that. I understand where y'all coming from. So, but I just don't want to call black people garbage. I just don't. I'm not saying
that's fine. That's fine.
Right.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair. Yeah, and as y'all know, this is a therapist, so she knows the power of words and language. I use it because
exactly.
I want to apply pressure on you Negroes, you know, when I use certain words. And trust me, you know the power of black women's tongue or women's tongue in general. When they open their mouth and they say, I can't stand their tongue because their tongue is sharp like a razor. It stings. It's like you're casting spells when you use your words properly in a very loosely manner, a very sharp manner. Because when you call a man a bitch-ass Negro, or you call him a gay person, or all other derogatory terms, it hurts.
Yeah, which I wouldn't be supporting that either. Like, I don't like when that happens either. I think that that's inappropriate. I think that it causes problems in the community too. So I'm not just only policing men's language. I tell women that it's not okay for them to say certain things too.
Now, it goes back to the accountability piece of this stream. That as a woman, what in regards that you've noticed that women, our sisters could do a lot better if they can in regards to hold something accountable on their end when they're around each other.
Right. So what I think that women could do better at is finding their actual purpose and their actual identity before they start dating. The thing that I don't like when I'm talking to black women is the fact that there are large groups of women for whom life does not matter unless they have a dude that's in their face right then. What I try to get women to understand is sometimes you need to have patience, right? Sometimes you need to be focused on what it is that you specifically can do in life, not just about a husband only. Yes, you need to know what you can bring to the table for your future husband or what have you, but you also need to know what you bring to the table just as a human and individual. Because, see, these women, they get out here, and when a guy doesn't do what they want to do, they throw these tantrums, they do a bunch of stuff that is harmful to themselves, the community, the other person, because after that guy leaves, it's like, what is your life about? They don't have anything else. I don't like it when I'm talking to women and the only thing they can talk about is where's the nearest place where you can find men. And the reason for that is because, right, that means if they strike out one night, everybody has to pay for it. They are in a bad mood. They do bad stuff. Nobody gets anything good. And then now somebody has to sit around and help them feel better or else it's going to be a blow-up World War III. I think that women should have something that they can talk about outside of sex in relationships. You need to have a identity, because otherwise, who are you in a marriage? Who is this guy marrying? Who is he making a baby with? Is there an identity? So I do think that black women could do that a little bit better And then I think that would, in turn, solve a lot of the problems that we have, like the problematic behaviors we don't like that black women do would be solved. Now, are there other things that would need to be fixed in a relationship with black people? Yes. But that would be the thing that would be solved from what black women, the problems that they bring to the relationship.
Okay. Excellent. Another thing I would say for the holding of accountability, that I would want sisters to do better is to really, for those that are, let's say, are married, that they could at least help and groom other young women to not only see what it is, but to what are the things that they could do once they get to that position. And why I say is because a lot of young women are nowadays are around other women or circles that want to waste a lot of time, especially in their 20s. You get me? And nothing's wrong with being wasting time, partying, and all that. But there has to be a cutoff period, when you had to get serious. Because, as you know, Topaz, most dudes, when you hear a lot of them, whether they're financially stable or are making six figures or wherever position they are in life as they're older, they tend to get women that are a little younger. And I say a little bit, not super young, but a little bit younger, depending if they're not really find their true mate during their, I guess, trying years. You know what I'm saying? When they're like in their 20s. It's not like when we were, because we are, I guess we're 80s babies, if we want to call it like that.
Right.
That is a little. I mean, I did things different than what you did because you're older than me. But at times, what we live, we're just the outliners. I don't know if that's the right word to say. Then ones that's coming up now, that's 20s a decade ago. You get me? Now we have to sit and look at our environment and our scenario. That if you're a young girl, if you're in your mid-20s and you look for marriage, sometimes if you're not finding him while you're in school and college, which most women said they are, if you're not trying to scoop up then obviously your process now, you might have to go find an older dude. You get me? Which is fine. I mean, that's optional because I hear him pushing in certain circles. But I look at that, the gaps, if they're going to be widened, you have to be ready mentally beside anything else, because you're dealing with an individual that has more time, maybe experience, and is more mature. And we all know what most males on the average, they don't really start to really see life or have more of what they want more into their late 20s, when their brains reach a certain capacity, around 27 at most. And that's what it lies in both the men and women, because I'm not saying just the males at 27 when your brain reaches certain maturity, but women as well. So, but like I said, they always push the notion that women are much mature than
yeah, and that's been found as a myth. That's just something that people say.
And it is a myth, because that don't make no sense, because how the brain is not fully developed until your late 20s. But because you might have the body, but go ahead, speak.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so the myth that I was talking about is the fact that women mature faster than men. Now, that part has been found as a myth. Both, genders mature, along the same lines. It's not. What happens is people require less out of men until they're older, and they require more out of women younger. So men, it's not like men are just sitting around twiddling their thumbs, just incoherent until they're older. That to me is an insult to men as well. So that's the myth. Now there are certain mental processes that you are not capable of until you're in your mid to late 20s, and that is because some things are shaped by life experience. It's not shaped by genetics. So some things you have to have experienced before you can say that you have this type of thought process. You can have it, you can understand it, but you can't truly internalize it and truly know. You could believe and accept what other people tell you, but you can't truly know until you've hit a certain, age milestone, behavioral milestone. So some things you just can't know until you're in your later 20s. That is true. We have cognitive development that we have to go through that doesn't finish until you're in your 20s. Also, structures in the brain that aren't finished developing until you're in your mid-20s. That part is true. But the myth that, like, women just so happen to be able to reach this at teenage level and men just have to sit around until they're in their 20s and then they could possibly figure it out, that's not true.
It makes me wonder, where do we get that notion from, since you brought this to my attention? Because I always conclude that maturity with people, men and women, is different, but I've been hearing this lately in this space. I conclude that that's not true, because you could find women that's hell older than you and me that still acting immature. So something doesn't really add up. So if you want to go in more detail, if you want, it's up to you. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the reason why we get that is behavioral. So in the past, psychology, the study of human behavior, was focused merely on what we could see. And so what people didn't take into account back then was the fact that there were certain accepted, behaviors out of the community. Men were okay with being called certain things, doing certain things, having certain reputations, and women weren't. So it was the accepted behaviors that we saw. And so people did more of those behaviors because it was accepted and there wasn't as much of pushback with those behaviors. So what happened is men were allowed to be a little bit more free until they were older, and women were expected to rein it in very quickly, because if you didn't, then you got a reputation that you couldn't come back from. Now, that is something, that means that was taught. That's not something that is actually like a human process. That was taught. That is behavioral. It was reinforced. It was punished. Those behaviors were created. And so that is not human instinct. But once we got to a society where people cared less about what everybody had to say about them, then we were able to see what actually people wanted to be doing at the time, and we were able to get more information on how early somebody is possible. So you were able then to put together research where you can incentivize certain behaviors and see how early is it that somebody is capable of doing it if they wanted to. You were able to put together different studies that says this is what they can do, and some things they just aren't capable of yet. You were able to see into the mind with like EKGs or ECGs, whichever one of them is for the brain, right? You were able to study more as science progressed. So that's how we now are able to say that, no, that's not true. But in the past, that's where we got that from. It's from what we saw.
Okay.
And I can be long-winded, Chaos. So if I ever keep going on,
no. We are a learning channel. As you know, Chaos Reign is not only entertaining, but we are learning people. We try to articulate and explain thoroughly, because to the average being, we trying to push an attention span greater than 5 seconds.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The attention span of the average human being is less than 5 seconds. I am going to challenge you people on your attention span. I'm going to raise it to 5 seconds to 20 seconds at almost. That is the intention. You might hate me, but I love you because I'm going to push you. You're going to cuss me out. You're going to look at me and say, what does this no good fucking nigga talking about pushing my mentality? Because you need your brain to be fluctuating. It needs to be, the neurons have to be active. I need to see the electricity off your head functioning. If it's not, I did not do my job. So nonetheless, you must be attentive. So when we go long with it, like myself or Topaz, very long with it, it is for your own good. Keep that in mind. Anyway, what else is on my mind? I'm trying to remember. Oh, here's one interesting thing. I remember Mr. Macon mentioned this. There's something in this community that we don't really talk about in regards to married men with wife. That, and mind you, this is another taboo question, if you could answer to us, that there are a set of women in the communities that love to mess around and sleep with other women's husbands for a reason. And I find it that only this one black man mentioned this and talked about it, and I never really thought about this. But I say, hold on, we talking about this should be a sisterhood, a real strong, bold sisterhood. But when it comes to males or the axis of certain men, there is a constant conflict where there's fighting. I mean, a fighting where they sneak behind their best friend's back and fuck their husbands, in other words. And for some reason, they always put the fingers on the man, which they rightfully so in a way, but they never really chastise and really say we got to hold more accountability to ourselves as sisterhood or women, that we should do the number one rule, and we should not be sleeping with other friends or women's husbands. Why is that such a very much not a talk amongst our communities? Just for us, besides everybody else, but let's focus on us. That why is it not something that I don't think it's cool, but why is something that's not pushed more as an accountability piece in regards to you should not be sleeping with other people's men, husbands. I don't know if you want to explain that, if possible.
That used to be what was pushed, right, in the community. The only reason why it became a thing is because that there were some women, like there are some women in the past that have been sleeping with somebody's husband. But the thing is, in the past, before we had technology, you couldn't prove it. So it was always just hearsay. And so the wife or the main chick would have to just, accept the fact that you can't prove it. Also, the women back then were more incentivized to not say anything because you could be how can you prove it? It would just be hearsay. So it was like, why those women had no reason to talk to one another because neither of them could prove anything. The only time the men back then were punished for that was when both women chose to say, yes, the other is telling the truth. Now, with technology, it's more likely for you to get that response. So then what happened was there was an explosion of realizing that, yes, men do cheat on their wives. Men do leave their wives. Yes, this is a thing, right? So after the arguments and all of that happened, the women were still willing to be side chicks to the guy that's in the relationship, and then they became very proud. They're now announcing it to the world. And why? Because they're still getting what they want. They want this guy, even though he's connected to somebody else. And then they want people to understand that that's like what they're choosing to do. The guy is choosing to be with them as a secondary target, and then they also are choosing to be this guy's second choice. So that's a consensual relationship. The only person who's unhappy with this is the main chick who wanted her dude to not have a side dude, and if she doesn't walk away, then she's kind of technically still, saying that it's okay with her action by staying. Now, does she like it? No. But she's not willing to walk away from it. So now it's a thing where it's just accepted, it's just known, because we already went through the argument phase. We already had that where people were fighting, and it was understood that if the wife contacts the side chick that she would, try to fight her or whatever. But we got tired of that. That ran its course. So now as a community, it's just like it is what it is. Everybody just freelancing out all of the love and affection. There's no boundaries anymore. Everybody's just doing whatever they want to do because we already had the argument part.
Yes. That is really, to be honest, that makes sense. Certain things that outlive its course, that it's been so normal that it's a effort, as long as I don't know about it, I'm not sure how you not know about it now because we have technology now, and we had like a TV series called Cheaters, and how women up here popping up on her mate unnoticed with his side piece, and she up here surprised, and let's be honest, Topaz, a lot of women know that a man got somebody, on the average.
Yeah, they do.
They know.
They absolutely do.
But they still proceed because, to be honest with you, most women don't give a fuck. And it tells you that there's only two things that will attract you as a man. And T.I. talked about this last year, that all the tricks and hoes are attracted to men when they have somebody. And if you're like a high-tier man, you are going to be heavily attracted You're like a serious fish in the sea that women needs to reel in and say, I got me one. You get me?
Right.
Let me see if I can
Right.
get snagged up.
But
I
yeah,
want to be that bait.
That's because we tell women that their value is when they have a man. So if you want women to not be out there like searching for men like that, then stop telling them that that's their only value. And it is true. Like, there have been men that have been in the public eye that have talked about what all they went through with having a side chick and all of that. But this is the thing. People still are doing it. So obviously it's not a deterrent.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of women tell another woman, say, go get your own man. Don't F my man. And they say, okay. But, a lot of women, and let's be honest, a lot of women do it for spite, and a lot of them will just do it because they say, just want to hurt another woman's feelings. Say, your man, and what? While you kiss him, remember, when you kissing him, you're tasting my pussy. And that's the most insult any woman could say to another woman, that when you kiss your man, you're tasting some of her own juices. I say, God damn, you can't get any colder at it. Now, mind you, a woman like that would sit there and then Noah said her own. She would. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest.
No,
I just gotta laugh at that. I have to laugh at that because I get slapped for that shit. Say, this woman you fuck. Yeah. Right. But so you couldn't.
But they are saying it. They are in fact saying it because it's an insult. Yeah. Because you know what? Well, you know what makes it an insult is the fact that you're expected that once you build a connection with a guy, like, he cannot make that connection with anybody else, and that's just not true. It's very possible. The thing is he willing to? Is he going to make a connection with anybody else? So it's a choice. It's a behavior that he gets to decide. It has nothing to do with with the woman. Can the woman contribute to his choice to make that behavior? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to him specifically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's up to us men nowadays if we want to entertain. But like I said, I feel with most women, and I know they're not going to do this, like, when they look at him and say, let's say I'm hollering at this next chick and I'm married, and she look at me dead in her face and see that sometimes I might have my wedding ring or might not, and, she'll look at it and say, you sure you want to go that route, player? You want to really hurt your wife? Do you want to really be put in a divorce situation? Now, most dudes nowadays, they work hard to keep whatever is in their family so it doesn't happen to that, but it does and it will happen eventually. And like I said, Topaz, most women on the average do not really have a grasp understand male nature. We always been hearing about female nature, and I agree, most men should have clearness of female nature. But I should really put the fingers at it and say, do you really understand male nature as a woman? Right. That's a question I have to throw up because, like I said, and I see somebody wrote some in the chat room. I'm not going to entertain that. But
wait,
like I said,
can't see the chat. Is this on?
Oh, you can't see the chat? No, this is something from another YouTube channel. Hold on. You're on your computer. I'll send you in a little bit once people start. Oh yeah, let me give the call number. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 977-194#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 977-194#.
Yeah, what channel is it on YouTube? Because I want to watch it too.
It's T.R.S. Just type in T.R.S. You see with the line main. I was saying that I think I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that women damn, now it slipped me. Shit.
There's a bunch of stuff that says T.R.S. So after I type in T,
just type in Talk Real Solutions.
Okay.
Most women that will go that route, and like they warn their man, and the consequence. And like I said, male nature. A lot of women today, Topaz, they're not really aware of that. I don't think most women really care if one would keep it real honest. And this is what we feel as a community, that if men are supposed to make the effort to understand female nature, biology, I think it should be even more emphasis that women should understand male nature and biology. And what I mean by it is that if you're around an actual male, a male that is attractive, tall, handsome, where they want to consider handsome, right? Then on the average, 9/10 out of the time, he's gonna attract other females around him.
Right.
That's just a given fact. But like I said, the female ego, it says, I got him, no one else can have him. I said, okay, but you are one woman that's trying to hold on to many other fishes that want to snag him for whatever reason. You get me?
Right.
But he's committed
Right.
to you. Now, I'm not saying I don't advocate the cheating, because we know how people in this community view cheating. But I'm keeping real honest. The more attractive, appealing that women will find in a man, the chances are you're a woman that got this man for yourself, you're going to potentially, and I said potentially, be sharing a man.
Well, yeah, because
Especially
that's the whole point of other women wanting him. So if you're not willing to deal with that, then what you need to realize is that it's not about how, like, you can't pick a dude solely because other women want him. You need to pick him because you and him connect, and then if other women want him, that's just a byproduct.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's the point. Like, otherwise you can't be mad if he cheats on you and other women want him, is because that's the whole reason why you picked him. So if you're picking him and that's your only criteria, then you have to understand that, that's a possibility. He might cheat on you because there's nothing else. You didn't put together a connection between you and him. What you got him for was because you wanted to prove something to other women.
Yes. And Beyonce Topaz, you're the only woman that I have, and I've done many streams with women, but you being upfront and honest and just being real, laying out the whole scenario. Because to be honest, I don't know if I can have these conversations with the average woman that has a profession or just a well-known through podcasting or YouTube. Because just asking a question and having the rationale, they're not going to really give a clear answer like how you give it, because you understand male nature enough,
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I still try to figure y'all out. I understand what I need for today. I don't always have the answer.
Yeah. Well, you figure us enough to know, say, men are simple. We don't ask much as men, as you know, Topaz. You get me? And all is only thing you can do is you should be able to try to keep and hold a man. That's it. You get me? Now, if a man is doing well financially and he has many options, your job is to do you and try to hold and keep it as much as possible. You get me? He will not go nowhere. Right. As you know, especially black men, if you look at the data, Topaz, other groups of men, other racial groups of men, they will walk out on a woman on a given notice just for little things. I hear stories of non-black men, Caucasian men especially, will walk out and divorce his wife for whatever reason. You get me?
Right.
You don't hear most black men, and mind you, it's going to be a time where black men is going to flip that and they're going to start divorcing women. You get me?
Right.
Because it has not seen yet in our lifetime, but I see it coming now. And it is long overdue to see that, because as a man, you should not be afraid. If you feel working with this, you should be in a position where you're going to cut ties and say, I'm done cutting you off completely. I will file the paperwork. I'll do what's necessary to move on. You get me? It should not be a point where it's over 7% of divorce filed by women for whatever stupid reason. It should be reversed, because as a man, if you're doing what you should be doing, being more than a 50-50 dude, I would say if you're 80 or 100, perfect, not going to stress it. But if you're doing what you have to do and your counterpart is not reciprocal in any way, fashion that you feel, and you feel there's nothing going to grow or any outcome better, then you should, as a man, move on. You get me?
Right.
When women divorce, on the average, Topaz, is either two things, financially or cheating. And we could probably put an emotional thing, because one day she might feel she don't nothing good and she wants a divorce. You get me? It changes with the weather with women. You get me? in regards to staying in the marriage or not. You get me?
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. Women divorce men because they're not getting what they want. I think that I agree with you in your statement that men should divorce women because if they're not getting what's needed. That's one way for men to take control in the community.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and I believe that too. But you see, like the conversation that I was a part of on your other side, where that, you know, a lot of dudes don't understand that, you know, you gotta, if you're the ones that control relationships and you want marriage, it comes to her and if she want to accept your proposal or not. And during that, you know, how does relationship go is going to solely be up to you as a man, you know, how you want this to play out, you know. I think with male leadership in the 21st century with a lot of men, that the reason why it's not there because in our communities, we are too much seeing a structure of women doing what they want to do and don't want to really play a part to like either let the man what they call lead or be comfortable to really see the men that's doing something to really be under some form of leadership down the line. You get me? If that's what they're talking about. You get me? You can't you can't complain about you want black male leadership and you don't want to be a person to be reciprocal. You don't want to be listening and want to learn to be led. You get me?
Right.
It's preposterous. Right. I mean, there only could be one pants in the family. We can't have two people wearing two pants. It's not sexy at all, you know. It's too much masculine energy, you know.
Right.
And you masculine me, and then what it leads to is going to lead to violence, where argument assists, and then physical violence happens. And I don't condone physical violence, but when we hear about domestic violence, and there is data on that, and we're not going to cover that because that's not the purpose of the show. We're only dealing with accountability. Is that, you know, it takes a lot for a man to really, at the end of the day, you know, do what he had to do around his mate. You get me? And to be honest with you, most men, and ladies know this, men keep things simple. Once they make a decision, it is actually final. We don't go back on a word. We just sit there and move on to the next one, you know? And I think with a lot of women today, because they might got things together financially, because women work now, Topaz, but in regards to actual structure, it's not really there. They always need a man to structure certain things in their life, because they always come back to the assistance of a man, i.e. state or something. You get me?
Right. No,
so that's the caveat of things why women don't understand that when we talk about accountability, that women should hold accountability with other sisters and be firm about it. And the accountability what they should incline should be direct, simple, and to the point. And if other women don't want to hold each other accountable, then like always, Topaz, what women do? You know the answer to that.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Women don't hold each other accountable because, see, this is the thing with the sisterhood, right? So the women that don't need the sisterhood aren't part of the sisterhood. The sisterhood is there, and it's not for women who are abiding by societal rules, who are doing what they need to do. The sisterhood is there. The only time anybody calls on the sisterhood is when you did something that was, you know, not okay, something that was not logical, and you need somebody to just be on your side. Otherwise, like, that's the only time women call in on the girl code. Anything else, they don't really call in on a girl code for when you are in line with what is good, you know, for the community. So, like, the reason if you're asking why women don't hold each other accountable, that's why. Because the only time you'll see them join up is when it's some fuckery afoot. If everything is going well, they don't need to link up. There's not a need. Nobody's punishing black women for doing appropriate things. So if that's hopefully is that the question you were trying to ask?
Somewhat. Like, no, normally it was a comment, but not. Well, actually, it was a question at the end. But yeah, that's clear enough. Reward and punishment is how order is set, and as you know, because our community is more in chaos than order, that there's no ground rules for actual punishment. I mean, as much time women think that men have it easy, and that men feel that they should not be accountable, that's a lie. Cause I look at the environment and where we are, that men are always held accountable. You know, women want to believe it or not, it is. And that's why I only focus to a certain set of men overall. And I'll be honest with you, Topaz, I don't deal with a lot of niggas around here, man. To be honest with you. I mean, I just had it's not a conversation. I respond to some on another brother somewhere on social media, and he got emotional. You get me? And this is a grown ass fucking dude. So what can I do with this shit? Really? You know, I mean, I don't waste time.
Nothing, because if he's getting emotional, it's already too late.
It's already too late. You're right. So what I do is I sit there, watch the reaction, and then don't say nothing. And eventually, if he blocks me, good. You get me? But my thing is this: that I'm a man that I only can keep a circle that people are clear-minded. That, let's say they got this shit together good, but they got everything in their mental capacities in order. That means you cannot act and move like a female in your emotions as a man, because other women expect your emotions to be intact, at least. No one says you got to be emotional for everything, but it should be intact as a man. You should not get so overt through questions. We question some things, and if you can't respond, okay. But if you go and get mad about that, then obviously, to me, you're not really in. I look at it as a man mentally, and I don't want to have no conversation with you. And this applies to Topaz when you're dealing with certain women. If some women cannot really master certain things at a point in life, especially they're in their 30s or mid-30s, and they still have unmet trauma or things that they still do that is childish, as a woman, you can't be around them type of women. You get me?
Right.
It's going to spread like a virus. You're going to start carrying on their bad behavior if you're not careful. I remember when you had an argument months ago, if I forgot what it was again, and it was something with certain women. You get me? You said your thing, you expressed yourself, and you kept pushing. Well, you did that in regards to love. To know and say, I'm not that, to try it. You get me? You might play it with other little girls, but I'm a grown woman. Don't play me with that. You get me?
Yeah, and this is the thing. There are certain things that black men, like how you say certain men, you realize you just can't be around certain types of men. There are certain women that I do realize that I can't be around. And so, the women who have a lot of double standards, I can't be around that. It's too much. Certain behaviors are just good in and of themselves, and certain behaviors are just not acceptable in and of themselves. So if I have to do a whole lot of mental gymnastics to be around you and understand what it is you would want me to co-sign, I'm not going to do. If I don't do all of that in my own life, why would I do it for somebody else's life? So certain women, when I have those beefs back and forth with women, it's not something that I enjoy having, but I have to have it because this particular woman needs to understand that I'm not going to do more work to be in her life than I am to exist in my own. That doesn't even make sense. And when you think about it, why would a person not only expect that, but why would they require that? And I think that those type of people should be getting a lot more pushback. But the problem is, the reason why you and I have to argue with people like that is because they aren't getting that kind of pushback.
I think the pushback, a lot of people don't want to get pushback because there's a fear of, what's the word? Yes, correct. That's why.
Yeah, but see, you can't live your life being scared though. If you're living your life that way, you're not living. You're walking on eggshells to be around this person. That's not a life that you're living. So if that's the case, if you're so afraid that person is going to retaliate, you have to be willing to stand up for what it is that you think is right. And if you can't, then you're always going to be at somebody else's beck and call. And then that's you living on eggshells for somebody else's life. That's not a life that you have.
I agree. I don't live in fear I never did, but I look at as I get older, like anybody else, that there's some things you have to overcome as an adult, and the fear of what if or what people think of you, you have to clear those thoughts and overcome those, because the stage of actual maturity and adulthood is how to overcome mostly of all fears that will hold you back. Hell, you think about why we're still in the position we are as a race of people in the West, in America and globally, it's because we are afraid to do what is necessary to get out of it systematically. You get me? And And as we know that things and how times are progressing now, it will not get any easier. It will get worse, you know. And it's nothing new, but I tell people how worse will it get for us. It will be determined. But know this, that all our complaints on how we view each other, that's something that could be easily mitigated. But we're willing to not put in the necessary work to really mitigate these small problems in regards to us in relationships and, you know, the opposite sex, men and women, what we should be doing. Because to have these ongoing debates of, you know, battle of sexes, and I entertain now for how long now? Maybe a year or 2 years. And be honest with you, I get tired entertaining moving forward to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell people many times that after all the arguing and bitching and fighting done, what we do to really come back to the table as men and women, to really air our problems out and come to resolution. I mean, these conversations are not being had because both parties today still act and conduct themselves like children. They still want to fight.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, fighting is profitable for not only other groups of people, but within other groups within our own circles, to be honest. And I get it. I understand it. But really, truly, to have the conversation, we have to be clear that, you know, our arguments and fighting is not benefit us in the long run. You know what I'm saying? People are still making money off of us. You know, think about this. If the relationships will add up to $1 billion industry for women to spend money and for men to spend money, but we know women are going to spend more than us, that it's profitable, you know. And it feels, say, why I want to break up this? I need to keep this going. I go even further. If I do certain channels, certain streams about negativity of women, and there's an argument fighting, I will see the numbers jump exponentially. But when I go back to normal and talk about things that doesn't relate in that, it dips very low. So I always think that there's a bigger plot going on that we're not noticing, Topaz. Because there's only help people that watch my channel. The numbers should be spiking when there's a conflict between men and women fighting, where there's fussing, arguing, cussing. You get me? And a lot of people not really paying attention, or they're messing with the numbers. One way or the other, it lets you know that these spaces that we entertain are doing this intentionally just to stir the pot. Nothing more, nothing less.
There are some people that come online just to see the arguing, the bickering back and forth, because it's entertaining. It's better for you to feel like what it's like to be on the outside when somebody else is arguing and bickering and fighting. If you're just in the audience and it's not you, that's a better feeling than just, you know, not seeing anything. And that is something that we need to work to change. Why is that a good thing in our behalf? That means for us to feel that way, it means that we have accepted the fact that it's just going to be arguing and bickering and fighting in our community. The best we can hope for is that we're not involved in it. So there are people that come on here, and that's what they want to watch. They look forward to, they put the support behind, they put the views and the cash apps behind the arguing and bickering and fighting, and therefore they perpetuate it, because then more people will be in arguments and bickering and fighting because more people need, you know, support.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of people are gearing their content overall, because don't get me wrong, I don't mind profiting on certain things, you know, but I want to be profit respectfully, God willing. You get me? Because this is a business, you know. I'm here to not only entertain but inform. 2 for the price of 1. I'm gonna give the call number one more time because we're not gonna stay on here long. And I know you guys got questions. I know you ladies are watching. I know y'all watching. So the call number is 712-770-4160. The access code is 977-194#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. The access code is 977-194#. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents the Sisterhood and Accountability. Let me look at the comment sections on this other channel here, and it looks like, I'm not sure if you know this guy named Big J Triple X, but
I've seen
I
Big
think
J around.
Yeah, Big J, he has a different turnaround for some reason because now he's talking about the so-called master, a closet black master. I don't know what the hell that means, but it's some weird shit. One woman's put out another content creator's name, which I'm not gonna put out. I can see him tightening up his, what do you call this? Oscar now? I don't know what that is. Some people can't spell. But anyway, yeah, people getting quiet. Honestly, when I put a subject like this, they think I was going to run my mouth and talk about accountability. I'm not a woman. That's why I brought a profession and likes of Topaz to talk about this.
Well, I'm just glad I could come through Chaos, to help out, because this is the thing. I'm going to give my final thoughts is just that the sisterhood wouldn't be needed if women actually had a code that a sisterhood could abide by. We wouldn't need a sisterhood. It would always just be, are you doing what you're supposed to do or not? And if you're not, we hold you accountable. If you are, then we praise you and uplift you. So that therefore a specific subset in terms of a sisterhood wouldn't be needed if we were doing what we were supposed to do. So in terms of accountability, the reason why women don't hold one another accountable is because women are not the people who determine the end results of our actions. Men determine what are the end results of our actions. Women do a lot of things based on what men have to say and what they want.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My line dropped for some reason. But go on what you were saying. Sorry about that.
Oh, well, just because, I can't hold another woman accountable because, in real life, men are getting what they want. The problem is men are just not accepting the fact that more men want the type of women that are out there now. Because if they didn't, this wouldn't be happening because women would not be getting attention from men. And then they would be forced to change. The things that y'all see that y'all don't like out of women is because women who do those things are still getting attention. They're still getting, male contact. If men were to truly up and leave, women would change. Now, I'm not advocating for men to leave. What I am saying is that I can't hold another woman accountable because the answer to anything that I tell her to do is going to be, okay, well, can you promise me that I'll get a man for doing these things? And if I can't, then I don't have any leverage to tell her anything. Anytime I talk to a woman and say, you shouldn't do this, okay, do you have a man for me? And you know why? It's because we judge women on whether they have a man. So whatever it is that they're doing, as long as they have a man, it's okay. When you don't have a man, whatever it is you're doing is wrong. Now, that's not in line with what would be helpful for women to be doing with the community. I personally feel like if women don't have a man, then you could at least be doing something else to uplift the community. Don't sit around just waiting around, sipping lemonade on a veranda waiting for a man to show up and try to date you. You still have things that you need to be doing in the community. So I can't tell women that if men are going to show up and try to date her when she's doing whatever. I can't tell her that if when she's sitting still, no man comes up to date her. So I don't have the leeway and the leverage to hold women accountable. Men have to do that. So that's why I don't hold women accountable, because who am I to say anything?
And do you notice, Topaz, I said it personally, why some men still conduct the way they are in this community is because, especially women that are, let's say they're very fat, obese, right? And a lot of black men say they don't want women that's too big. And I agree. I never messed around with a woman that's big. Like, I think greater than a dress size 8 or 7, last time I checked. And I remember one chick, she was like less than 4. But the point is this, that, that the reason why most women don't feel that they have to do better just to get a different outcome is because they're getting 2 things.
There's always some dude somewhere that says, I understand, it's okay.
Oh, no. They get dick and attention, and that is more than they need. You get me? So, but like I said, when men stop giving certain attention, and yes, brothers, we're going to have to stop giving the dick. We're going to have to stop laying down the pipe to the fuglies. I'm the same person. A lot of women going to crucify me because, I got crucified when I was on another brother's panel, and I was talking about my preference of a woman's dress size. They get mad at me to the average dress size in America now. Last my check was like a dress size 16, and it's probably more bigger now because we're now in 2020, and that data was like 3 years old. So it tells you because of the condition of the sisters that you're getting bigger, and that ring is getting smaller if you're getting any ring. Yeah, men will still bang you because, like I said, men will entertain you by giving you the dick and attention. But other than that, in regards to something long term, they're not thinking that because, obviously when they're really ready to settle down, they want some woman that looks manageable on the average. You get me? Especially a man that's making a lot of money and that's very doing good for himself. Yeah, he's not going to really entertain big women, especially if you have kids. You get me? But a lot of women don't really see this because they feel, I feel bold because a man's giving me dick and attention, so why should I do better, improve? There's no need. And I get you, but the problem
to work for. Like, okay, so if you already have, this is a person that has won the lottery already. So if you already won the lottery, you don't have to have a structured day. You don't have to get up and do anything because society also feels like money is like a reward for good behavior. So if you have all the money you could ever ask for, you have no reason to be able to change your life or anything like that. What is it that you're getting up to strive for? When I wake up and I set my alarm clock in the morning and I get up, it's because I am going out to get money that I don't have already. So it's the same thing with men. Why do you have to change your appearance if you already have the men that you want? If you already have male attention and everything, you don't have to get up. You don't have to set an alarm clock to say, hey, I need to start working out at this point in time in my life. You already have it. So nobody can tell you anything. Well, anybody that says anything to you about wanting to change, they have to hope that you want to change on your own. And there are some women out there who want to change on their own. But for those who don't, when y'all talk about y'all want to get the other women on board, they don't have to. There's nothing that they're working towards. They already have the end goal. It's already given to them.
Yeah, you're right, man. Everything is given to them. And, like I said, I leave those women that don't want to even improve on the small factors to make them more visually attractive. I leave them to their devices. You get me? No man's going to force and tell you what you should be doing, ladies. But no one's saying if you're not doing something different, you're not getting a different outcome. This is that simple. You could take all the level up courses, the so-called fake spiritual nonsense, talking about you want to put some, you hear this like the voodoo and all that stuff, which I find it odd that I hear people say that there are some women teaching this on YouTube. And I'm thinking, are you practicing this so-called low-level witchcraft and you're not using it against the system? I find it very odd. Now I think of that, Topaz. I say, this witchcraft must be effective against men, but it doesn't be effective against the one that's perpetuating the system that caused your oppression. I find that very weird. And I'll be honest with you. When I hear this, I say, hold on. Because I know people from the continent Africa that know some certain science. I know some people from the Caribbean. But when I hear they teaching this practice, or women that's in America teaching this practice to women here, that I look at it and say, okay, so you're trying to do this just to get a man? Where you could just did something different, really something proof, get your mind right, get your body right, get your personality, be more humble. You will get somebody. You will attract somebody. That's how it works. But to sit there and say, I'm going to do some hocus pocus, some real black girl magic, I mean, I find that thing to be silly. And
let me just say, I don't like when people are saying black girl magic and then they apply it to just random, stuff just every day. No, we're as black women, it don't have to be magic for us to exist and be okay if we're doing what we're supposed to do. I think certain things just kind of show the insecurity. If you're sitting around saying black girl magic for just regular things throughout the day, that is not magic. That's what we do on a day-to-day. You negate the fact that we are able to do a lot of amazing things day-to-day by calling it magic. Magic is supposed to be reserved for the unthinkable, for the unattainable, So I have to be honest with you, I have a lot of problems with the things that go viral, the things that the groups of black people say. And it's just, come on, we do normal people stuff on a day-to-day. It's normal. Other people should be looking up to us because we can do it, and it's normal. The magic should be for the unexplainable, the things that we do that we don't even understand. Set the bar higher. That's what I feel like. But
now, in regards to the bar higher, what do you mean implied that what they should do is set the bar higher if you want to be in detailed description, if possible?
Well, okay, so people, when a black woman looks attractive and she has a good hairstyle and she has a cute outfit that's put together that people were telling us wouldn't look good on our skin color or whatever, that's not black girl magic. That's us being creative. That's us just being attractive. That's normal everyday to day thing. That's not magic. Let other cultures see that on the outside, this is what we do on a daily. Y'all need, if y'all think that this is magic, then y'all need to try to rise to that occasion. Our magic is when we make a way out of no way. The times where we've been oppressed and we've still been able to overcome. That's magic. That's something that, y'all got to get to where we are on a daily first before you can even start to think about what we go through on a daily. So, but when I say that, I get told that I'm negative and all of this kind of stuff, but to be honest with you, for us to apply the word magic to just day-to-day things, that kind of lessens what we're capable of, and then everybody gets complacent, and then we don't try to strive for nothing better. I feel like yes, there's a lot of things in the world that are holding us back, but I feel like it's mainly our thought processes that are holding us back. We're capable of so much more, but we settle for the day-to-day stuff that we know that we can do easily. It's like if you're good in math, and, you just go around saying, oh, this is just my gift. No, you're already good, and you are good at that. You do that every day. What's the stuff that was unexplainable that was possible that has happened in your life? That's where the real miracles are. So I think that if I was in control of things, I would be requiring us to use different language for different things. I would require us to actually use the words that as they truly mean.
All right, Topaz, I think we have gone through our time limit. I don't see anybody else really eager to call in, ask any questions. Oh, let me give a call number one more time. I'm going to give you 1 or 2 minutes. The call number is 712-770-4160, access code 977-194#. Tonight's subject, Chaos Reign presents Sisterhood and Accountability. One thing I do want to tell you, Topaz, I also created a new series with another woman from the East Coast. We call it Porn Talk. We talk about certain information, and we get kind of fun and goofy with it about just in general about sex industries. I'm not sure if you are someone available. I'll probably have you on. We could probably chop it up. And trust me, it does get very sexual. Let you know, this is not no PG-13. You might be questioned, mind you, just let you know, heads up, because we talk about certain things for an hour or so. But that's a new series that I've created on my. It's been picking up a little bit, not much, but people have been hitting the views on this. But like I said, it's something that's never been done before.
Okay,
so,
now this is
I think, yeah, go ahead.
You got to understand, I'm in Central, okay? So when you tell me the times, please let me know, because apparently you're in Eastern time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think you're an hour behind. You're an hour behind, right?
I'm an hour behind you.
Yeah. That was my hiccups, because I always forget when I contact and try to bring guests. I always don't keep in mind what side of the soil they're in, because my time is different from everybody's time, especially in the far west coast down south. It's gonna be totally different. So
and I got so many contacts on social media that are from the East Coast. So I always have to just I think that from going forward, I'm just assume that other people are an hour ahead of me. But so meanwhile, you have it backwards. So while you got all of these people in Central, I got all these people in Eastern.
But if you have so much friends on the East Coast, that's telling you something that your practice is possibly needed. And matter of fact, and I'll be honest with you, I think people, no matter where we are in America, we need some form of clinical therapy. But like I said, if you got more people leaning to the East, it's going to come to the point you might have to take a flight to the East overall. You get me?
Yeah.
Just in the future.
Well, we'll
in the
see.
future. In the future.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Not now.
No, I know what
In the
you
future.
mean. I know what you mean, Chaos. I got you. We'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have no business in the East, but if I got business in the East, it's only 1 hour. I'm straight. Like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll see.
We'll see. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not plugging anything, but I tell people many times, if you know where your circle is and where people are leaning towards and where they need more assistance or the people that's hitting you up, that's the market to really look into, possibly. And I say possibly, not because, where you at right now is good because, you're in a big state of Texas. Everybody likes it big in Texas, you know what I'm saying? I like my women nice, slim, thick, double D breasts, you know what I'm saying, 42
that
inch
is
butt.
not the only thing that's down.
You know what I'm saying? And some women got like a 52-inch booty. I said, God damn, girl, I can't I wrap my hand around this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hear you. And that happens down here. I get that. So listen, so what I'm saying is if you ever in Texas, you're gonna go nuts because that is kinda like that's not rare here, okay? They have that. But that's not the only thing that we do down here. Thank you very much. We do other things. All right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's true.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna keep that alone. Let me open one line. One person have a question.
Okay.
All right. Anonymous. Who's this?
Hey, yo, Gary.
Yes.
Hey,
yes, sir.
What did you just state a moment ago about basically like who likes you, right? Like, isn't that what you stated?
No, it was something different. I don't think I stated that, to be honest with you.
I mean, in other words, you stated pretty much like anybody that likes you, like, cling to those people, right?
No, what I was saying before, because she has contact majority on the East Coast, I was saying to her that, because she's in the field of therapy, psychological therapy, I think.
But what you stated, though, Gary, you can apply that in dating as well, though, man. Like who likes you, like you were talking about. Women that are a little overweight. Sometimes niggas, they don't, they can't locate women, or women can't locate men due to their preference, man. So I'm just saying the women that are liking you, maybe if you're interested in those type of women, you will have more luck.
So you're saying women that are not overweight, that are more severe to women that are like slimmer? That's what you're saying?
What I'm saying is a lot of the niggas that prefer Beyonce, they really deserve Rasputia.
Interesting.
Huh?
That's interesting. I mean, if a dude wants a Rasputia, that's up to him. I mean, no one's knocking it. If he could work it out, he could work it out, I guess. I mean, my thing is this: if you gonna get somebody that is Rasputia, I mean, imagine what he's getting into at the end of the day. If he's gonna tackle that, you get me? So, and mind you, and who's this that I'm talking to?
I mean, it's like who likes you, man. This is Anthony.
Yeah, but who's this I'm talking to?
Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony. Like I said, a woman that is a Rasputia, and mind you, most black men, we deal with anything anyway. So it's not like it's not just the bigness, but how the woman treats the man. So obviously, when we're talking about size, I mean, some dudes like him big, but if she treat him good, they'll deal with it. But not every dude likes that on the average. Everybody's picky nowadays. Their preference is different. That's all I gotta say. But do you have anything to add on or any questions for my guest Topaz, Anthony?
No, I just want to
okay.
in there. Wrapped up.
So no question.
Well, I just want to add on to like his comment. This is the thing. Yes, of course, like who likes you. But out of the people that like you, pick the one you like the most. So this is the thing. For some women, for some men, a woman Rasputia's size or with her attitude isn't a deal breaker. Like y'all said, if she's treating him nice and she's just rude to everybody else, and she has a little extra weight, that is not a deal breaker because they don't care what she does to other people. They only care what she does to them. So, yeah, that's exactly the point. Like who likes you, and then you pick out of the ones that like you.
Get it,
Yeah,
Anthony?
that's why I don't feel sorry for lonely people. Like, you don't have to be lonely. You won't
Right.
let go of you downgrade your preference.
Well, and this
Or
is the thing.
another.
What if you aren't downgrading your preference and there isn't anybody around you at that very moment that meets the standard of the things that are deal breakers, things that you are willing to deal with? To be lonely is a state of mind. You could be alone and not be lonely. You could be around people and be lonely. So lonely itself is a state of mind. That means you're harping on your life value being how many people are around you fulfilling what you feel like their role should be. You might just be in a particular point in your life where right now that person isn't available to you. Doesn't mean you didn't have them in the past. Doesn't mean you won't get one in the future. It just means right now you're focusing on that and you're choosing to pick on that instead of just living your life and being you, which is probably where you would meet the person that is assigned to you by fate and circumstance in the universe or whatever you believe in, right? But you're not going out there to get that because you want to just sit around and mope that you don't have that person in your life right now. So I don't feel sorry for lonely people either because I feel like there could be something you are doing. There could be people in your life that are fulfilling other roles, but you're upset that somebody isn't fulfilling this role right now. And that's just a temporary state. You're solidifying your life in this temporary state, focusing on that instead of just being happy and then, expanding, and then other roles in your life will be filled.
You get that, Anthony? Was that clear?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. And to be honest with you, Topaz, it comes to, at the end of the day, that as a woman, you're going to have to make deals. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women don't want to hear is that depending where you are in life and your age, you might have to settle. Potentially. That's potentially. And nothing's wrong with that because let's be honest. Men,
even if you get somebody
on average,
you're still settling.
Okay.
Settling means to just make sure things are peaceful. It doesn't mean downgrading. People use those terms interchangeably. But even if you get the person you want, you are now settled. You settle into things. It just means calming. So I don't understand why people have a problem with the word settling.
Well, when the word settling comes to mind with a lot of women, they say, oh, that means I got to settle for some broke. No one said that. But you have to settle and compromise. You get me? There has to be some deal breaker that you could work with. That's easy to deal with. A deal breaker you could work with. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's perfect. And I'm going to say this personally for a lot of people that will be listening to this. And hold on, I hear feedback, Anthony. I'm going to mute you for a second. That people must understand that if you go compromising, settling, and you're going to have to make a deal one way or the other, people, ladies. Life is too short. You get me? And we always hear this notion that you will die alone. Is potentially a reality. There's going to be only 1 in 4, and probably it's going to be greater 1 in 5. You might be actually married in your lifetime. Now, that doesn't mean life is over. Not really. But you can make life much better that way, you end it on a good note as an individual. If you live a good life, you're humble, you're sweet, you're all the above, you will get a man. And a man who you attract, depending on how you put yourself in, will stay around. You get me? We're not. And another thing, one thing I will say now, it came to my mind. There is no such thing as perfection. That means, ladies, there's no such thing as a perfect man. I hear too much talk through podcasts, YouTube, etc., where a lot of women, the ideal man or what they seek for is a perfect man in their mind because they've been fed a fairy tale. And I'm a man. I don't deal with fairy tales. I deal with reality. I wake up out of what we call bedtime stories. But like I said, America and media teaches you and feeds you lies that not only you can have it all, but your Prince Charming is going to wait for you at the end of the day. Now, one dude post in the comments said, I'm full of shit. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind that.
But why, though?
But like I said,
what's the thing that says that you're full of shit?
Oh, they don't like it because I bring these topics, these talking points, talk all that S on your show and run when it's over. There's no running when it's over. I mean, the line is open. You can call in, and if you want to cuss me out, that's. But if you're gonna be, what do you call it? What's the word? Well, I'm not gonna say it. If you like to entertain the chat room, that's you. You get me? I'm not gonna hold it against you, but don't up here. If you're gonna say something, at least say it on the line. Be respectful. You get me? I don't mind disagreement, but if I'm full of shit, oh, that's cool. But anywho, like I said, there's no such thing as perfection, and the clearer that you women get an understanding, the better.
Right.
I can't wait. One person said you can't wait till the. No, you do it now because during the after hour, I don't stay around after I do my show. Be clear. I'm not sitting there going to go back and forth argue during the after hour. If you feel inclined that you want to cuss me out, you press *61 and you talk to me now. Now, the way how you go about it, I'm going to see if I'm going to entertain you. End of story. When we do this after hour nonsense, that's some bitch ass shit. When I do my time and energy on this platform, I do my subject, the show, and I keep pushing. I don't go back at the end of after hour to have some conversation. Because what we're going to talk about after conversation is some nigga shit. I don't want to deal with no nigga shit after my show. I have to end what I'm doing, hang up, relax, do some other things, and keep pushing for the next show. If you don't like the show now, then that's your business. I got one more caller.
Okay.
Hello? Who's this?
Hey, Gary, what's up? Hey, man, what's going on?
What's good, Yashua?
All right.
Yeah, you got anything to add a question on the show? Go ahead.
Yeah. As far to the young to the sister on the phone, I was going to ask her as far as like the term selling or whatever, and I think you might want to agree with me and you might not agree with me, but I want to ask you that most men, they settle anyway. Most men don't marry the woman necessarily. Don't marry the woman of a dream. They marry the woman that really they generally are. They find later on in life that they're compatible with, that they can get along with, that they don't have to argue all the time with.
Not only do most men settle, most people settle. Because see, this is the thing about dreams is that they're by definition the highest level. So a whole lot of people, only the smaller percent of people are going to achieve that. So most people settle anyway. But it at least gives you something to strive for so that you're just not out here just accepting whatever, since you're not just scraping the ground for crumbs. It's nice, but see, the part of maturity is where you realize that was a dream. And and that you accept the fact that it was something that gave you something to shoot for, and it's perfectly okay for you to end up with somebody a little bit less than that.
Right. And I also want to say that, quote, from my little experience, from my experience, that, I find the older I get, the more I start to see things differently. I start to judge differently. I mean, not judge, but I start to see things differently. I don't see things like I was 21. I don't see things anymore like I was 25 or 35, whatever. I see things differently. So I tend to see them differently. Now, there's things like I disagree with, for example, this word called confidence. People like to throw that word at people. They be like, well, he's not confident enough. No, that's dumb. What do you mean confident? What do you mean? Most men, again, I'm saying men because the pressure in some cases, because of the way society is set up, the pressure is on him to introduce himself. The pressure is on him to go meet her. The pressure is on him, etc. And I always try to say that it's not confident because most men approach a woman the same way. We approach them the same way. It's just that some of us might not have a whole lot of money. Some of us might not, might not quote have certain material things. But generally speaking, we generally approach a woman the same way. So it's not even confidence. But people like to throw that word around because it's such a ghost word to some, and sometimes I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes I believe they put confidence in front of cockiness. They think because a guy is cocky, they think, oh, no, he's confident. Girl, oh, no, he could be just lying to you.
So this is there is definitely a difference between cockiness, which is arrogance, and confidence, which is actually reality. That's you having a very realistic assessment of your skills. Now, I will say this, though. There are, men don't necessarily, there are some men out there, there's a lot of men that are not very secure. And you know why? It's because men are always being judged. They're always on Front Street. There's always somebody critiquing even the smallest. They're fine-tooth combing a man's day all of the time. So men don't usually use confidence when they approach women. From what I can see, they think they're using confidence. But from what I can see, what I listen to when I have male clients or even when I'm talking to men, is that there's an accepted rule, there's an accepted code of conduct that if you approach a woman in this way, then you did everything you were supposed to do. So if she say no, it's not you. So that nobody can critique you after you get the rejection. So that nobody can call you out if you get the approval. And the reason why that happens is because, see, that's what happens when you critique people to death. They come up with a code of conduct where I don't have to think. I don't have to be me. And what happens is you're not you. You're not who you're presenting. And you mentioned earlier how, sometimes you think differently when you're 20 and 30. Yes, and that's the point of life. Do y'all think that it's really a high percentage of people who at 20 years old happen to pick the right person that can and is willing to go along with them through all the additional changes that they have in their life at 30, at 40, at 50, at 65, at 70, at 90, at death? How likely is it for you to pick somebody that can go through all of that with you? The earlier you get married, it takes more work for y'all to choose every day to stay together, and it's hard to do. And now that we have no fault divorces, now that divorce is not a taboo, more people are willing to opt out when things get too hard, because what they're doing is showing us, right, that it's not likely at 20 for you to pick somebody that can and is also willing to go through all of the changes you have left with you. That's hard to do. It's better when you are more in line with your goals at 30-something. I know everybody wants you to have a younger marriage, but it's better when you get married at 30. You have a better chance of staying together because you know more of who you are. So that way you can prepare the person so that they know what's coming up, so that they don't have to leave when things get hard because they know what to expect out of you. You've pretty much laid out a ground of foreplan. You laid out a blueprint for the next 60 years of your life because you are capable of doing that at 30. So then the person can sign on or say no. So you have a better chance of living that out. So it's a lot of stuff that we do and we tell each other that goes against, it's counterproductive. It goes against what we're capable of. So if people would just sit down and listen and be open to ideas, our ancestors might have gotten the answer wrong. But now that we have more information, now we can make better choices. Right. We have more things at our disposal. We have more things available to us. We don't have to live like that.
Right. And it's something else I want to say. Y'all spoke on the word loneliness or being lonely.
Yeah.
I don't look at the term. I mean, this is just me. I don't look at it as being a negative. I mean, I think some people do.
Right.
I don't, because I don't live my life through someone. I live my life for me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't worry. I mean, one thing about being single and being single for long periods of time, off and on, it teaches you how to love yourself. It teaches you to find who you are. It teaches you to even say, maybe I shouldn't be in a relationship because I got these certain values and viewpoints, etc. Sometimes some people come to that reality where they don't even say, man, well, maybe it's best for me not to be in it because I'm too much this way. And I think that's the beauty in being lonely because you find it out about yourself. A lot of people spend their life trying to find people, and they're hurt. They're all insecure. They they crying, they're behind closed doors, they're sad, and I don't want to be alone, bro. Stop it.
And
be alone.
Loneliness, and you're very right. Loneliness is not good or bad. It just is. It's a state of being. It just means that's what you're doing right now. It's not a positive thing unless you unless you're an introvert. It's not a negative thing unless you're an extrovert. So loneliness is. What happens is people outside of you that see that you're lonely assign a trait to it. And then they use it to either attack you and say, oh, no, you're lonely. That's so bad. I'm going to make fun of you, right? And then you're supposed to all of a sudden feel bad about being lonely. You didn't control being lonely. If that's the case, we don't like being lonely, but, it is what it is right then. You'd go out and get some people to be around. So, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and I see people that are unmarried, and they're unhappy. I mean, I'm like, damn.
Exactly.
Well, I'm like, so you're married, but you're unhappy. What the hell? You're supposed to be happy, right? I hear couples all the time. While I used to work, I wasn't a counselor, but I used to try to talk to couples when they came in the find stuff to get married, and I would say, just remember this: when you turn 30 or 40, when you turn 40 and 50, never believe that your husband or your wife don't love you anymore, or it's not the same. It is that you're changing with the time. You're changing with age. It has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and they just need a little adjustment period.
Adjustment, exactly.
True.
Yeah, and they say,
they just met a new version of you, and they need time to get to. So you're gonna have to go back to what it was like when y'all were courting, right?
Exactly. So, I tell people all the time.
That's good advice.
Yeah, and I tell them all the time. So, people say, "Well, I've been married for 40 years, but I'm getting a divorce." I'm like, "What? For what?" I'm like, why?
Yeah, because you know what? At that moment, if you're getting a divorce, you could choose to get the divorce, or you could choose to go back to the courting phase. It has to be both of y'all making that choice to go back to the courting phase, or else it is divorce. So yeah, exactly. I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good point.
Yeah, it's weird how people think,
sure.
but yes.
I have no person calling line. Let me see who this is. All right, call who this is. Hello, open line caller.
You muted me earlier, man. I've been on the line, bro.
Yeah, but because of feedback. Let Joshua finish. Joshua.
Yeah.
You have any other? You have any further questions, Joshua?
No. I'm pretty much done. Like Topaz. Is your name, sis? Is it Topaz?
Yeah, it is, and it's a jewel that means healing.
Oh wow. So you're a healer, huh?
Well, I try to be. I just got a whole thing, God sends the healing through me.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you study astrology and all that, or are you into that?
Okay, so I mainly study psychology, but the astrology part is just fun afterwards. I can't read cards or anything like that, but I pretty much know the basics. So
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, it was nice talking. I know Gary want to go. I know Gary want to leave. So, but anyway, thanks for calling and thanks, Gary.
We can carry on. We can carry on with this topic, though, right? We can take it
all right.
with it, right?
Well, no, because I'm gonna soon conclude this, Anthony, because it's almost 2 hours into this. One thing, but like I said, Anthony, if you want, you can call in the after hour. Unless you have any further questions, possibly, brother.
Maybe a comment, or I don't know.
What comment is that, Anthony?
So, Joshua, actually, the question: do you think having sex with women? Do you think that would cure loneliness? No. Yes. No.
No, it doesn't. That doesn't.
It makes it worse.
Right, exactly. That doesn't even cure it because this for 30 minutes or so you got some pleasure, or you thought was pleasure. Now the person's gone, and you still walking around by yourself, looking like, damn, okay, that's over that like that. Damn, now what's next? So yeah. So
I just wanted to pick your brain on that. Good.
Oh, wow. Well, bro, I'm kind of old, bro, so you can't pick my brain too much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Topaz, we saw, and we have actually conquered this wonderful topic. And, like I said, I see Big J, he's up in there, being very much active in the comment section. You know, I don't blame him.
Right.
You know, I think with Big J, he has turned a direction because he was on this heavy for years. Now he's doing something different, which is cool. I mean, everybody has to change up once in a while. I'm hoping what he does will be stimulating, growthful,
Mm-hmm.
and that he gets a different audience. I mean, as you know, Topaz, as me as man, I never cater to either side. Even doing
Right.
content now on YouTube for I think 2 years, doing podcasting 5 years. I'm at a point. I mean, I don't want to be taking too many sides. I don't. I tried the balance route, but when I look at between men and women, we're not balanced creatures right now. So whatever message or any topics or anything I want to discuss is going to be a different narrative. It's going to make people uncomfortable. It's going to make a whole lot of women uncomfortable, and it's going to make a good portion of men uncomfortable. Nonetheless, I don't want to be balanced in what I'm doing. I just want to put out the information and leave it as is. You know,
Right.
The audience that will come out of this is expected. And what I've learned that for most people that puts out certain content, certain narrative, they have to cater to their audience. And it's expected, you know, like what you're doing and what you're going to be doing moving forward. Your streams, your podcasting, your counseling is going to cater to a certain audience. And the audience that you gravitate, let them know up front that you are a person that be fair and balanced in your message as a woman, and it's going to either make you feel comfortable or uncomfortable. And today's society, we are very much very comfortable. Hell, we're going to be put back to sleep with this new administration. That tells you how much comfort black people are right now as we speak.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, black people are getting ready to be very uncomfortable, but what I just want us to know is that it's a purpose behind the uncomfortability, and that comes before any positive change. It comes before any change, and you decide whether it's a positive or a negative change by your reaction to it. So, yes, this is necessary. It's going to happen, but we can survive. We can come out on the other side, okay. So I just need black people to understand, yes, it's going to be uncomfortable for a while, but it's not just us. We can choose what we want to do with this time period.
And I hope we make our time and use our time wisely moving forward.
Right.
And anywhere people could follow you, contact, etc., links to Topaz. If you want to give that now.
So, we have the show For the Record TV on Saturdays at 3:30 p.m. Central, 4:30 Eastern. And then I have my own channel, but I don't really have a set schedule. I just kind of go live when the spirit strikes.
Good.
So, and I feel like it's better that way because then I'm not just making trite or, overused topics. I know it's better according to the algorithm to be consistent, but I'd rather just be true with the message. And the message is true when I feel it, when I feel the movement.
Oh, okay. Excellent. I still haven't really structured a schedule on my channel. I will probably eventually come down the line and do it. But because I'm trying to reorganize now how I want my channel to lay out moving forward in this year, it's going to be a lot of different changes. I know with the porn talk, I already set an actual date when I do it with me and my good friend Kai. And the only thing now is to set an actual time when we're going to do it moving forward. I think that is guaranteed. Besides all the other shows that I do here on this platform in our Chaos Reign, it's going to vary, anything that comes to my attention. I might schedule or I might just do it on the fly. So, like I said, people, if you're not subscribed to Chaos Reign channel, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Subscribe to my channel. Also, you can subscribe to Topaz, which I will probably put in the description during this replay or this recording of the show to let y'all know. All right.
And the chat we did today was fun, right? So I try to do a little.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So one thing. It's not all work and learning. Sometimes there's a little fun too.
I will say this: when it was concluding that I did not know that when you talk about the child support thing, I had no idea Topaz that you as a woman you don't really waste time go to the state to get the so-called Mr. Charlie of the white man on your baby daddy.
Listen,
It's only one baby daddy, right? That you went and got him for
well,
the
it's
child.
two.
No,
My kids each have different fathers. The first one I was married, the second one I wasn't.
Okay.
But my thing is, I don't really like courtrooms, and systems and all of that. I feel like it's not individualized to me. It's all about just, this big, broad stroke that you just paint everybody with. So I hate going into them on my own. If I could avoid it, I would, or if I could find a way to avoid it, that I work to try to avoid that. I don't like being in courtrooms for any reason. That's not a fun time for me. So I don't approve of the child support system. I do see women taking advantage of it, yes. I also see men who can afford to just kind of like do the bare minimum and they take advantage of it, yes. But that's not the reason why. The biggest reason is I just don't like courtrooms. I don't like systems overall telling me what to do in my life or the people that I'm interacting with. And then, two, I don't feel like they actually put in the time. You know how when you hire, like when the congressman gets elected, they do just enough to stay elected. They don't really care about their constituents, and that's how I view all things systems-based. I don't believe that they actually are connected to their constituents. I believe they do enough to stay there and get their check, and then they go home. And whatever is going on in your life just doesn't matter. So I try to stay away from all of that. So I don't approve of child support court.
It's funny you talking about people that are elected in Congress. That's a whole career where it's a permanent job, which I find why that has not been rules now in America that they start restrict that, because no person that's got into politics and got to be I guess congressperson, wherever, and they hold 30 or more year careers, and not retire. That tells you the money they're getting is very much plentiful. And that's a no-no, because now you in there, you're going to be complacent. I don't care what anybody tell me. That's why when they get those type of positions, it's final. Hell, I think Maxine Waters was in those same areas, and look how long she's been doing. She's been in those seats for almost roughly over 40 years, and nothing really has been better for California, where she's at overall, from what I'm hearing. But it goes back again. Once you're in, and you don't have to be held no accountability. So there's no really structure, because the structure cannot exist without no accountability. Let's keep it real on this. To find that it's still existing, that tells you there's no accountability and there's pure chaos in those positions. But it is what it is, because a lot of people know, the people at the end of the day, human beings, they want some form of security. I get it. I understand it. But everything that's secure is not always good overall. Society stops. Things stop functioning once there's security, because there's no need for improvement, for need to emphasis to get what or do things for better the outcomes. So I get you. I hear you. All right, Topaz. I'd like to thank you for being a guest on tonight's show. I guess when I have you back on, it'll probably be for another topic. And hell, I might just want to have the gang, the fourth quarter, third war, and Brandon L on here, and we'll probably chop up on today's topics and just be fun with it. I'm saying, up here on this channel, possibly. We'll see. We'll see. Because I do keep up sometimes. Sometimes, depending if I'm not busy, I will come up. I'll do chime in once in a while, but it's such different now than it was from the other situations.
Why do you always wait to the end to come up? You don't never come up to contribute to the conversation.
Well, Topaz, I am a busy man, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and trust me, Topaz, you know me. I'm no stranger to hit that link. You know this.
I know. I'm just saying, it's like you come up at the end and we about to leave, so I can't make the stream go longer. But no, I know you got stuff to do. I'm just saying.
If I can catch it early or in the middle, I will do that. But if not, but like I said, I come in to do some support, because it's better to be seen and let a presence be known than nothing at all. You get me?
Right.
And a lot of people,
I know.
their thinking is this: if I can't listen to the show or place a response or be part of the show, I'm not going to be bothered with it. And I'll say, no, just make sure you let your presence, watch a few minutes here. And if you had to go back, go do that, because you give that person the view, including the like.
Right.
Remember, when you hit that like and you watch that view of the channel, you help the algorithm very much good. So that that you're knowing that people are watching the material, they're liking the video. So when it's all said and done and it concludes, what people do, Topaz, they go back and watch back the video because it's going to be in the recommendations for everybody's outlets that's not subscribed to the channel. That's the main end you want. You want enough people to sit there, be able to watch for a little bit and hit the like if they can, because that's what you want for the channel to grow. And I expect fourth quarter to reach at least 1,000 subs by the end of this year. I think that's a benchmark that y'all should be shooting.
Thank you, because we do have it as a target, so we can add more fuckery on the community tab. So yeah,
that's what I love about it. I love the fuckery. I live for it. You know what I'm saying? I want the madness. I want Brendan L with his Bitcoin ass talk some shit. I want Third World to lay out that game. You know what I'm saying? And tell other content creators, like, say, yo, old man, you want this pussy, but you can't attract some. I like that shit. You know what I'm saying? Start some controversy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and that's what they do. They definitely start. I be over there being all wholesome. I don't be part of that, so
Yeah. But like I said, that's something that if you could get and accomplish by the end of this year, that'd be wonderful. I mean, as you know, I'm trying to shoot up around that. It's still a work in progress. I think I learned certain things from O'Shea to what to do possibly. And like I said, we only could do as much that the time is given to us to make improvements and put out the outcomes so we get the better results in our own channels. But I expect good things in the coming months of this year. So be patient, keep working on it, and it's going to come to you. All right. But like I said, I'm going to hit you up on in the emails. I'm saying any other questions, where to find me, yeah, I'm no stranger, so you know where to contact me.
Right.
All right, Topaz. All right, Topaz.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm gonna let you go. I'd like to thank everybody else for calling in and participating in today's stream. Like I said, on my channel, I hope that y'all leave a comment. And if you're not liking the video, please like this video. And if you're not subscribed to Chaos Rain channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that red button, hit that top bell, so you know when there's uploads and notifications to Chaos Rain channel. But other than that, thank y'all for listening. Until next time, good night.
Good night, everybody.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening to this broadcast with my special guest, Topaz. Subscribe to her channel. The links will be in the description of this video. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. You can now follow me on Facebook, Eric Rain, and you also can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let the chaos reign.